than that. Call this guy. Sure. Call in a plumber. What race is the plumber? White, Afrikaans. My friend, let me tell you something. If I can show you what it looked like compared to what these guys put together, you'll understand why umsebenzi wakhe. You understand? The plumber comes in, he looks at the thing, he says, no, this doesn't work, because when your occupancy goes up, the number of people that are shitting goes up.
People are not paying rent. The building is wasting away here because maintenance needs to be done. If we are to get in, do the maintenance and fix the buildings, people need to get out. If I give that example, I'll have 10 lawyers there within an hour telling me they can't move these people unless I can provide alternate accommodation. Boss, everyone comes from somewhere. Go back there. There's so many people in a lot of these buildings that are genuine, hard-working people who just want a safe place to stay. They want to get to work and back. They want to raise their children, put them in school, build something for themselves back home where they come from.
On November 29, 2024, DJ WARRAS did something that would change the final weeks of his life. He took to Twitter and publicly criticized businessman Kat Matlala, a name that had already been linked in media reports to controversial tenders, political connections, and alleged corruption within South Africa's shadowy business politics ecosystem. What followed were death threats. 17 days later, DJ WARRAS was shot dead outside Zambezi House in the Johannesburg CBD. Tonight, we examine the question many are afraid to ask. Was DJ WARRAS targeted because of what he exposed, or was this a tragic coincidence inside a violent city? This is not a court verdict. This is an investigation into patterns, warnings, and a system that DJ WARRAS himself said would eventually kill him. DJ WARRAS was not just a DJ. Over the past year, he had repositioned himself as a vocal critic of corruption, hijacked buildings, and what he described as a criminal syndicate operating in plain sight, one worth billions of rand. On platforms like Penuel the Black Pen's Convo Show and The Truth Report with Rob Hersov, WARRAS spoke openly about Johannesburg's hijacked buildings crisis. He alleged that these were not random criminal operations.
When a contract is given for City of Joburg to fix the shit pipes, who does it go to? Spanbani Plumbing, connected to this fucking ex-hitman. How? I'm like, Uncle Wes, the plumbing, I see the sink is leaking. He's like, sink is leaking? Nigga, this is happening and this is happening. You've got a much bigger crisis than that. Call this guy. Sure. Call in a plumber. What race is the plumber? White, Afrikaans. My friend, let me tell you something. If I can show you what it looked like compared to what these guys put together, you'll understand why umsebenzi wakhe. You understand? The plumber comes in, he looks at the thing, he says, no, this doesn't work, because when your occupancy goes up, the number of people that are shitting goes up. If a building is designed for 600 people to be shitting, ingalunga. If 1,800 people start shitting into the same toilets and the same pipes, you're going to have a problem.
That's traffic, Baba.
Nasok. Multiply that by not only this building, the building next door, this one on this block, this one on this block, all of a similar size. What's going to happen underground, under the road with the sewage system? Disaster. Now, you're able to run as the City of Joburg runs, ignoring these things. Because there's people living there and they're living perfectly fine. They're happy with how they're living. You understand? Abananking, they pay their rent for the most part.
Yeah.
Right? But I know, ngokubona kwami, this is not right. But I don't have the expertise to fix all the problems. Yeah. I'm here for one thing. I bring in that expertise from outside. I bring the most skilled people that I know. And within 2-3 months of us being on that building site, come and see what that building looks like now. Come and see the progress that we've made. Not me alone, as a team. Why can we not apply the same principle when it comes to the policies that we should be implementing to empower people? We need to get the most skilled into the positions where they are desperately needed. Case in point, the CBD. That issue that I just described, Uguti, what's causing this, that in the building, is not only this way.
According to WARRAS, hijacked buildings were part of a coordinated system involving corrupt officials, compromised law enforcement, and politically protected business interests. Buildings are seized, residents are extorted, utilities are illegally connected, cash flows upward, and those who speak out, he warned, are silenced. During his appearances, WARRAS repeatedly made one chilling statement: if you expose this system long enough, they will come for you. At the time, many viewers dismissed it as hyperbole. Then came Twitter. On November 29th, DJ WARRAS publicly criticized Kat Matlala, questioning his role in controversial tenders and alleged political connections. Almost immediately, his mentions filled with warnings. Some were insults, some were intimidation, others were explicit death threats. Tweets predicting his death began circulating. Some users told him to stop digging, others suggested he knew too much. DJ WARRAS did not delete the tweets. He did not apologize. Instead, he doubled down. In subsequent interviews, he appeared calm but resolute, insisting that fear was exactly how the system maintained control.
Something I'm passionate about is taking back Johannesburg CBD. I think that allows.
Are you going to get behind Gogo Helen?
I don't know if Gogo Helen is the horse that I would back.
Is there another horse?
I would, honestly speaking, the only horse that has proven to me he can and will do what it takes in that city is Herman Mashaba. He had a run. When he started doing what was going to make the impact, they said he's xenophobic. And at the time, we were hurt by words. That shit is over. Now people, well, I don't give a what you think. You can say I'm racist, sexist, misogynist. Call me whatever. I couldn't give a damn. Because I'm about how are we getting the work done. Things fixed. And when Herman Mashaba came in and he was like, we need to do something about the amount of illegal foreigners that are invading our cities and the degradation in the city. And these NGOs are working against us. Because their sustenance, in order to sustain their business model, they need the place to be a shithole. That's how they raise money.
Isn't that terrible?
It is absolutely shocking.
And they get money from Open Society and
that's it. Remember when Trump cut USAID?
Yeah.
And everybody got angry?
Yeah.
Even though he cut it equally to everyone.
Boom.
That's it. They were like, oh, he hates South Africa. He's cutting our aid. I'm like, he cut $40 million in funding for condoms in Mozambique. Bet you Trump hasn't even given Mozambique a second thought, but he's not sending $40 million worth of condoms. It's more condoms than there are men in Mozambique. What the f?
What's going on?
USAID was a massive slush fund.
Yeah, complete
Monies
scam.
were being sent all over the world. That's it. And we have a similar thing in the CBD. You will try to do something in a building where you're like, okay, these people are not paying rent. The building is wasting away here because maintenance needs to be done. If we are to get in, do the maintenance and fix the buildings, people need to get out. If I give that example, I'll have 10 lawyers there within an hour telling me they can't move these people unless I can provide alternate accommodation. Boss, everyone comes from somewhere. Go back there. There's so many people in a lot of these buildings that are genuine, hard-working people who just want a safe place to stay. They want to get to work and back. They want to raise their children, put them in school, build something for themselves back home where they come from. These are the people you meet. And they are like 85, 90% of the people. But there's that 10% that don't want progress to happen.
Occupancy far exceeded. You've got 240, 250 rooms. You shouldn't have more than about 1,000 people, give or take. That's maximum. You've got well over 1,000 people living in this building.
He named hijacked buildings. He described how tenders were allegedly manipulated. He claimed that whistleblowers inside the system either disappeared or were financially destroyed. Then, 17 days later, DJ WARRAS was shot outside Zambezi House in Johannesburg CBD. The location itself raised questions. Zambezi House sits in a part of the city long associated with contested properties, security contracts, and alleged criminal influence. Police initially described the killing as a shooting under investigation. No immediate motive was confirmed. But online, the reaction was immediate. Screenshots of the November 29th tweets resurfaced. Clips from Convo Show and The Truth Report began circulating again. This time framed not as commentary, but as warnings that had come true. Journalist Criselda Lewis of SABC News reported on the killing, noting the broader context of Johannesburg's violent crime crisis, but also acknowledging growing public concern around the timing and the threats.
With the building, and MMC Chwako was quite correct. We reported about this yesterday, that DJ WARRAS was indeed, called in to assist with that hijacked building. There are a number of individuals, I understand, who are not paying rental in that building. The owner wants to reclaim the building. So DJ WARRAS was brought in for those particular purposes. And I understand from some of our very close sources, this included some security measures that he was going to install, including biometrics. So if you don't pay your rent, we can lock you out, right? We have a consistent issue relating to hijacked buildings in the Johannesburg CBD, very well documented. There's a huge belief at this stage that this indeed was a hit relating to, it's a huge business, Sakina. I understand that the so-called kingpins who run these operations could easily charge about 3,500. to give you a place to stay, which is not yours, and instead of
not
paying
theirs
rent,
either.
indeed, and then you just pay the money over to them, which completely doesn't make sense. Why not just pay the rent? So that is the consistent issue that they're dealing with in the Johannesburg CBD, and you could feel fear. It was very difficult to speak to anyone who was in that area yesterday, because a fear of they might possibly be attacked for saying anything about a huge issue in the Johannesburg CBD. Why is it so difficult to reclaim these hijacked buildings? They're huge syndicates, we understand, that are operating, or it's a huge business relating to hijacked buildings in the Johannesburg CBD. So that latest statement released by the family at this stage, what we do know is that police are following possible leads relating to the suspects in this particular matter. And we'll wait to see if those identikits will be released by police in the next couple of hours.
Dr. Chwaku also speaks about DJ WARRAS being there alone, which was a bit unusual, because generally when he would go to that building, he would have a trusted confidant, a person with him who was always by his side, who was not there yesterday. Were you able to pick up anything more on that side of the story?
Look, Sakina, from what we know is that, and also listening to what Dr. Chwaku spoke about yesterday, he had mentioned that DJ WARRAS was in the company of the owner of that block of flats. So I don't know if that's changed at the moment. We're still waiting for a whole lot more information. Of course, police are not going to disclose too much, because it could put that next person at risk as well. So we'll wait to hear what the latest is from police pertaining to that. But from my close sources, I understand that he had come from downstairs. There had been, and I saw Dr. Chwaku had also mentioned it today, relating to the I beg your pardon, the biometrics to ensure that the building is reclaimed. That was part of the process. And when he had gone downstairs, he had gone towards the corner of the street. And that's, I think, where the first shots had rung out, and he ran towards the entrance of the building once again, but unfortunately, he did not make it. That's the sense that we're getting at the moment. Of course, investigations are still continuing, Sakina, and we'll wait to hear from police what the latest is. But I think what would be a step in the right direction, given the CCTV that they've managed to, or are managing to go through, is to release those identikits. And we've seen in previous instances, once those identikits are released, even general members of the public are able to say, hey, I know this person, and it makes the work of police much more effective.
So there's quite a bit to still uncover. Of course, the person who usually was with WARRAS, who wasn't there, obviously the authorities would like to have a word with him.
Yeah.
And then there's also those against whom protection orders were taken out. And, no doubt the authorities would want to have a word with them as well.
Yeah, I think, Sakina, as well, just before you let me go, there's also the funeral service taking place today of Witness D. I saw you mention that in your bulletins as well. That's expected to take place at 2 o'clock today. Remember, in that particular case, and I guess the bigger question that will be asked about this is relating to private security, because that conversation was also had relating to Witness D, was also shot and killed in front of his family. What is happening within that sector at the moment? Is there, a plot to take out individuals who are probably assisting, whether it comes to illegal mining, whether it comes to hijacked buildings? So I'm not trying to link the two instances, but a deeper conversation, I think, needs to be had about private security and what is currently happening within that sector at the moment, where they seem to be coming under attack. So that funeral service is taking place at 2 o'clock. Last we heard from police relating to their investigations is that there were persons of interest that were taken in for questioning, but what I do understand is that they were subsequently released, and police at this particular stage are still also looking through CCTV cameras, which I had also seen around that particular area, in trying to piece together the puzzle of how Witness D was also killed.
The question many are asking is not whether Johannesburg is dangerous. It is whether this death fits a larger pattern. South Africa has a long history of whistleblowers who die violently after exposing corruption. From tender fraud to construction mafias, investigative journalists and activists have repeatedly warned that corruption here is not abstract. It is enforced. DJ WARRAS understood this. In his own words, he said the system does not forgive exposure. He described a network where political power, criminal muscle, and money operate together, quietly, efficiently, and ruthlessly. Was he targeted because of what he knew? At this stage, there is no public evidence confirming an assassination. There is also no evidence proving it was random. What exists instead are unanswered questions. Why the death threats? Why the predictions? Why the silence around the people he criticized? Why has no clear motive been established? When patterns repeat often enough, they stop looking like coincidence. They start looking like structure. DJ WARRAS may not have been a journalist by trade, but he understood something fundamental. Sunlight threatens systems built in darkness. His death has reignited conversations about hijacked buildings, corrupt tenders, and the risks faced by those who challenge powerful interests. Whether he was targeted or not, one fact remains undeniable. DJ WARRAS warned that this system kills. And then, it did. If justice is to mean anything, his case cannot fade into statistics, because when threats are ignored, warnings are mocked, and deaths are quickly normalized. The system wins, and the silence grows louder. What are your thoughts on this? Comment below and subscribe.